I really wanted a high-end spring wreath, but I could not afford one. So join me as we make our own. I think it came out beautiful, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Come along. I wanted to make a high-end wreath. I had seen so many beautiful pictures of them on Google. A lot of times when I want to make something, I'll do a Google search for like a spring wreath or like a bird's nest wreath. And I saw so many beautiful ones, but they were so expensive. Those wreaths were gorgeous, but just not in my price range. So I did some research and I had this bird's nest. I had this bird's nest about 20 years. It definitely is old and needed some revamping. The hydrangea flowers on them were very dusty and old, but I was able to utilize a lot of this nest. And so that was the base idea for my spring wreath, this bird's nest. I started dismantling the bird's nest. I kept a lot of the wiring on there because I figured I could wire it to the grapevine wreath. The grapevine wreath I got at Michael's. It was $5.95, and they have so many, like with grapevine wreaths, no two are the same. So I was looking for something a little more wild that had some branches sticking out, some that were more thick and not as uniform, because I just loved that look of the one bird's nest wreath that I saw that just had like this wild wreath wooden frame, and it was so pretty. It took me a little bit to get everything apart. I didn't want to ruin the bird's nest, so I'm not going to show you all that. You get the idea. And here are the florals I got to incorporate with the wreath. I got everything that I didn't have on hand already from Michael's. Everything was 40% off. There's so many beautiful, I love these pink little flowers with like the asparagus fern trim. I thought that was beautiful. I don't even know what that's called. I got some fern. I wanted to get a couple of different varieties of leaves and florals for this wreath. I just thought I would add some nice layers and extra dimension. I just think they look so pretty together. So I kind of went with a pink theme for this wreath because some of the base flowers I already had were pink. This branch was going to be like my main focal. I wanted to have it like draped coming out of the side of the bird's nest. So I was going to clip it all apart, and you could still clip it all apart if you wanted to, but I kept the piece whole. I just trimmed the end of it because it was just easy to just pluck right in there. It was a little resistant to being clipped. It was like, no, don't take my stem. But eventually I got it apart. The beautiful thing about using a grapevine wreath is you don't have to use as much hot glue or floral wire if you don't want to, because you can weave all the leaves into the grapevine branches and they really hold nice. So this is what I did here. I just kind of weaved it into the grapevine wreath until I decide on his final placement. I held up the bird's nest to see if I liked where it was at. It's a good thing before you really start gluing and wiring things together to kind of lay it out first like a draft, like a rough draft of how you want to do something. That way it's easier to undo something before you add glue and wire and have to redo things, which I still have to redo things anyway, but I like to kind of lay things out first. I think most crafters do. I really liked how there were some wild branches on the side, and I left them like that. And here I am laying out how I think I want the fern to lay and what flowers I want to put into the nest. Wow, my neighbors are really jumping around today. And And again, we're just kind of giving it a rough draft. I'm reusing some of that wire that was on the bird's nest originally. It's really pretty. It's like, they're like stems, like wooden stems with little leaves on the top. I would like to find more. If anybody knows of a craft store that has this type of wiring, it's really pretty. I really, really like it. So if you could give me any recommendations on where to find more, I would love it. But that's what I'm doing here. I'm securing it with wire. I was going to try to just use glue, but the nest was just too heavy. So you definitely need some sturdy wire to secure that nest to the wreath. I'm giving it a little shake because I'm a little rough, but I just wanted to make sure the nest was on there good. Now I'm going to position some fern to come out of the other end of the bird's nest. Thankfully, this fern was really easy to clip off. It was actually fun clipping the fern. I'm not gonna lie, I had fun kind of snipping the fern branches off. Is that weird? I don't know. Now that the fern has all been clipped, I'm going to start just weaving it in and out of the grapevine wreath and the bird's nest. This bird's nest was actually made very, very well. It's very sturdy, and I did have a little bit of trouble getting some of the fern leaves to go into the bird's nest. I had to work with it a little bit more, but this is where floral wire and hot glue come in. If you have to, you could use that to secure it. Now I'm going to take the little bouquets I got. They were floral picks I got at Michael's, and these are all wire. I love that. It makes it so much easier to arrange them, especially putting them in the bird's nest because that's where I want to place them. And once they actually came apart pretty easy. It looked like the bottom just had a piece of like thin tissue type of paper, and they came apart very easily. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to snip some more stuff with my wire cutters because I just got them. You know, it's a new toy. I got to use my wire cutters a little bit anyway, so that's fine. Now that everything's all trimmed up, I'm going to start arranging them in the bird's nest, just sticking them in and trying to, I don't know, just go with the flow of how I feel something should be positioned. I mean, that's the great thing about making things yourself to your liking, to your style, is you kind of just go with the flow. I'm not gluing any of them in just yet. That way, if I want to rearrange something, I can do it. And then once I'm happy with how I have everything weaved into the bird's nest, then some of it I'll have to secure with some glue, but a lot of it, again, it's wire, it's easily manipulated, and I didn't have to use a lot of hot glue, which is good because I am a mess with hot glue guns. I burn myself. I get clumps of glue everywhere. I'm a very messy DIYer. I love to DIY, but I'm a little sloppy, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, I had so much fun arranging the flowers in the bird's nest. I'm really, really super excited to see how this comes out. Now I'm adding some of the old berry picks that were in the original bird's nest. They weren't dusty and dirty like the silk hydrangeas, and I thought it would add another dimension of pink to it. And I just love the berry picks. I think they're so pretty. So we took all those and arranged them into the bird's nest. Yeah, it's a little busy. The bird's nest is a little busy, I'm not going to lie, but that's my style. You do you however you want. This is just kind of a guide to help someone who maybe wants to have something like this and needs an idea. I made sure to pick up the wreath often because it is eventually going to be hanging up. And while it looks one way flat, hanging up, it's going to look different. And even when you're done doing all the arrangements, once you hang it up for a few days, gravity is going to affect some parts of the wreath. I know with this, when I hung it up, some of the ferns started kind of pushing forward, and the green leaves, they kind of were falling a little bit further down than I had liked, but that's fine. You could just go back and add some floral wire or a little more glue and maybe glue some things into place. It's all part of the experience, the wreath making experience, gravity. Here I'm just adding some dabs of glue to some of the florals and the leaves that were kind of not cooperating as much as I would like to. I have no intention on pulling this wreath apart and using it for something else. This is a permanent wreath. I know a lot of people, they'll decorate and then they'll dismantle their wreath. So if that's what you're going to do, you don't want to add a ton of glue to it, especially at grapevine wreaths, because while hot glue can peel it off, sometimes it breaks the wreath. But this is just going to be a permanent wreath for me. I'm not going to dismantle it after the spring. So I added some glue where I needed to. And I burnt myself a few times. And then I had lots of stringy glue and all the things and the glue spider webs. You know what I'm talking about. You'll see what I mean about gravity. The ferns were leaning forward a little bit, and once I hung it up, gravity started pulling them a little too far forward. So I just pinned them back with a little dab of glue, and they weren't flopping out of the wreath. No big deal. Now I'm cutting up those little pink like daisy-like spring flowers that are so pretty. I removed them all from their stem. That way I could place them in various parts throughout the wreath to kind of unite the two different types of leaves. These florals, those pink flowers were also wired, so it helped to place them more. Some of them I left in bigger clumps, like here, because I like the whole look. And then there were little pieces I added throughout, which you'll see. And as you can see, you do have to play with it a little bit and move some things around just to try to get a look you like. And like I said, lift it up. It's funny because how I originally wanted to hang this wreath, I actually, and I'll show you in the end, I tilted it more to the side. I thought it looked even better with the bird's nest wreath kind of to the side, but I'll show you that later. I'm really liking how this came out. I know it's a bit extra, but that's what I was going for. I wanted to have a lot of different elements in it. And I just think it came out so pretty. And it was so much fun to do. It really is fun. This wreath cost me about $40 to make, which it's still high. It's one of my more expensive crafts, but it is a craft that I want to have for a very long time. I wanted to use better material, and I just think it looks fabulous. And here we have it. I think it came out so lovely. It's part of my fireplace decor for spring. I like having a wreath or a feature because it's not a real fireplace, it's a faux fireplace. So I like having a real feature hanging kind of in front of the logs. And do you see what I mean about tilting it to the side more? I think it just looks so much prettier that way, but hang it however you want. Like I said, I did have to put in a little bit of glue here and there for the leaves because they were starting to hang forward. And then down here, I kind of wove these green leaves more into the grapevine because they were like totally hanging down. Gravity really did go to town on it, but that's to be expected. It's easy adjustments, it really is. But overall, I just thought this came out so beautiful and spring-like, and it's just spring. I don't know what else to say. This is total spring. And it was so much fun to do. And if you don't have a bird's nest, they sell them in all kinds of craft stores. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun making this wreath. It cost me $40, which is more than I wanted to spend, but again, this is going to be a piece I'm going to use for years. Never, ever, ever pay full price for florals at a craft store. They will always go on sale. Wait till they're on sale. Never pay full price. That's what I do. And just have fun with it. Do things your own way, your own style. I hope to post a DIY video every week. Thank you for staying till the end. I love ya, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.